If Trump wins, guess who will be in charge of certifying the election? Michael Snyder reports. Do you know who will be in charge of certifying this election? In January 2021, it was Vice President Mike Pence, and we all remember how that turned out. Well, an even more interesting scenario is shaping up this time around. In January 2025, Vice President Kamala Harris will be in charge of certifying the election. In other words, if Donald Trump wins, the person that he was running against will be in charge of certifying his victory. This is a major defect in our system, and it could potentially set the stage for widespread chaos if things do not go smoothly. With each passing day, a Trump victory is looking even more likely. For example, a brand new Gallup survey has found that the percentage of Americans that identify as Republicans has jumped by 4 points since last September. With just 20 days left until Election Day, a new Gallup poll has revealed a concerning trend for Democrats. According to the poll, more Americans are identifying as Republicans or independents, with fewer calling themselves Democrats. Conducted from October 1st to 12th, the poll shows a significant shift in political affiliation since mid-September, causing potential challenges for Democrats ahead of the crucial vote. The data shows that 31% of respondents now identify as Republicans, marking a 4-point increase from the previous poll conducted in late September. Meanwhile, only 28% of Americans consider themselves Democrats, a 3-point drop over the same period. The number of independents, while still holding a significant share at 41%, dropped by 1%. Another new survey shows that national support for Trump has risen dramatically since early August. The presidential race is swinging in favor of President Donald Trump's direction, according to a national poll released by Marquette. The latest survey shows both Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris tied with 50% support each in a two-way race, with leaners including. This reflects a 4-point swing in Trump's direction, as the last poll released August 1st shows Harris up by 4 points, garnering 52% support to Trump's 48% support. The survey also took a look at the results with a full field and found Harris up by a single percentage point, 48% to Trump's 47% support. Another 4% said other. For greater perspective, the last survey showed Harris up by 8 points in the full field, with 50% to Trump's 42%. Right now, we're seeing so much enthusiasm for Trump, and the same cannot be said for Harris. When MSNBC visited one early voting location in Arizona, they could not find a single person that voted for Harris. MSNBC visits an early voting location in Arizona. Trump voters were everywhere. We did not find a single person who would tell us they voted for Kamala Harris. Things are not looking good for the Harris campaign at this stage. If she loses, she will literally be tasked with certifying the election that she has just lost. The vice president oversees the counting of electoral college votes and announces the results. They can still do this if they are a presidential candidate, and it's happened multiple times throughout history. Both the 12th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution and federal law says the President of the Senate, which is a role that's filled by the Vice President, oversees the count of electoral votes. According to Politico, Harris has promised that she won't interfere, quote unquote, with the peaceful transition of power. On January 6, 2025, Vice President Kamala Harris is set to preside over Congress and count the electoral votes that will make either her or Donald Trump the 47th President of the United States. And like her predecessor, Mike Pence, who resisted enormous pressure from Trump to upend the 2020 election results, Harris says she will not interfere. Hopefully that's true, but would she really just stand aside and hand the presidency to the man she has described as a threat to democracy? Just consider what Harris said about Trump earlier this week. A second Trump term is a huge risk for America. He's increasingly unstable and unhinged, and he is out for unchecked power and control over your lives, she said. If she truly believes that Trump is going to end democracy in the United States, wouldn't she feel compelled to take action? That is a question that a lot of people will be asking. Already, many on the left are suggesting that the 14th Amendment could be used to block Trump from taking office. The following is what Section 3 of the 14th Amendment says. No person shall be a senator or representative in Congress or elector of president and vice president or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state, who having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States or as a member of any state legislature or as an executive or judicial officer of any state to support the Constitution of the United States shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, or given aid or comfort to the enemy thereof, but Congress may, by a vote of 2/3 of each house, remove such disability. I really hope that Democrats do not consider such a course of action if Trump wins the election. And I really hope that we see a very peaceful transfer of power no matter who wins. Unfortunately, many of our leaders continue to make statements that are not helpful at all. For example, Joe Biden just said that he is very much looking forward to seeing Donald Trump get sentenced and put away. Joe Biden said the quiet part out loud and admitted that his DOJ is working to jail Trump after the election. The same guy who has 3 other major cases waiting for him when he loses, Biden said, referring to Jack Smith's federal cases against Trump. And by the way, 34 felonies, Biden said, after he sent his DOJ hatchet man Matthew Colangelo to New York to get Trump. He got the sentence kicked back, and I want to watch that sentence, Biden gleefully said, hoping Trump is jailed. If Donald Trump loses this election, he's going to go to prison for the rest of his life. So the truth is that this election means everything to Trump. Of course, this election also means everything to tens of millions of Americans on both sides of the political spectrum. No matter what the outcome is, I fear that there will be unprecedented chaos in our streets. Hopefully, I'm wrong about that, and hopefully cooler heads will prevail. But in our current political environment, I'm certainly not optimistic about what is ahead. And this is by Michael Snyder on End of the American Dream. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. About the author, Michael Snyder's new book, Why, is available on paperback and for Kindle on Amazon. He's also written 8 other books available on Amazon, including Chaos, End Times, 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecy of the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters. When you purchase any of Michael's books, you help to support the work that he's doing. You can also get his articles by email as soon as he publishes them by subscribing to his Substack newsletter. Michael has published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and the Most Important News, and he always freely, happily allows others to republish those articles on their own websites. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, we strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.